Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabby and today I'm going to be showing you my spring most anticipated releases. So I'm a little annoyed because I just spent like the last 20 minutes or maybe 15 minutes thinking that I was filming and I actually wasn't. So oops on my part, probably should have checked the camera to make sure that everything was running smoothly. I just want to start off by saying please do consider subscribing to me. I would really appreciate it. All of my social media links are down below in the comments as well. So if you want and if you like this video, please do consider subscribing and liking and commenting because I really do love seeing people comment on my videos, and follow me on all my other social medias. So with that out of the way, let's get started with the video. So, spring most anticipated releases. In the past when I have done most anticipated releases videos, they have been really long because there's been like a bajillion books in them, and this one is very conservative. There's only 9 books. Yes, there's only 9 books on this list, so, you know, probably a shorter video. But let's just kind of jump right in and get started. I'm going to do this in chronological order, so we're going to go in from March to April to May. So the first book is A Trial of Sorcerers by Elise Kova. Honestly, I don't know too much about this book. However, I am excited to read the Heir Awakened series by Elise Kova. I have the first book on ebook and I started reading it a couple of months ago, and I stopped, not because I didn't like it, but because for some reason I don't really like reading ebooks. Like I don't understand why. Like it would make my life so much easier if I just liked reading ebooks, and when I did when I was younger, but I just don't anymore. I like having a physical copy of a book or being able to listen to it while I'm doing other things. So I have it on my Kindle, but it's just I haven't touched it in a while, which I am hoping to return back to. But this, I believe, is set in the same world as the Heir Awakened series. So that's kind of all I know about it. I know it follows a girl and there's like, I think, a competition or something, and I think it's enemies to lovers with one of her fellow contestants. And I think she might have ice powers or something like that. But that's really all I know, and that's kind of all I really want to know. I think what will tell is if I really like Elise Kova's Heir Awakened series. I did like the beginning of the first book. I just didn't continue with it because I don't really like reading on my Kindle. I do, excuse me, I do, wow. I will read on my Kindle if I have to, but I do prefer physical books, so that's that. So that is actually the only book that is my really anticipated release for March. The next 5 books are April releases. So the first one is House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. So this, first off, cover, gorgeous. Most of these covers are really pretty and I'm very excited about them because pretty books are always really nice. But this is, I believe, a witch story, and again, don't know much about it other than I believe that it follows a group of sisters who, when they were younger, disappeared for like 3 months and then ended up coming back unharmed, like nothing, I believe nothing happened to them, but like, you know, psychologically, like in their mind, they were like, what the heck just happened? But it follows them years later, and I believe a kid goes missing again, and they have to sort of try and figure out what was happening. It seems like a really dark, earthy, like foresty, witchy kind of a vibe and like story. So I'm really excited to see what I think of it. I think I'm really going to like it. Again, witches is one of my buzzwords, whether that's in the synopsis, the title, or the title of a series. It is completely a buzzword. If you have any recommendations for witchy books, please do send them my way because I am forever looking for witchy novels or graphic novels or comics or really anything that has to do with witches. Please send my way. So the next book is The Infinity Courts by Akemi Dawn Bowman. Again, don't know too much about this book. I know that it follows a girl who just graduated, and on like the night of graduation she ends up dying, and she gets transported, like, I can't remember if she gets transported to the afterlife or if it's like something went wrong and she was intercepted and got sent somewhere else that's sort of like an afterlife, but something is like wrong and amiss in this afterlife thing, and her and I believe like a group of 3 other people end up having to try and like figure out what is wrong and trying to fix it. So the cover is beautiful. It sounds really interesting because it's like she dies, but her story begins in death as opposed to like the end of her story being death, which I think is a really cool concept. And I believe there's like fairies and like, it's an interesting like mix of things, I believe. So I'm really excited for that one. The next book is Victories Greater Than Death by Charlie Jane Anders. This is, the tagline says it is Star Wars meets Doctor Who. And honestly, the cover is what drew me in. Like, look at the striking purple hair and the eyes. Ugh, it's just a beautiful cover. So it is a intergalactic story. I believe it has a like ragtag group of misfits that have to save the universe, which I love that concept. I absolutely love Aurora Rising and Aurora Burning, and I absolutely love the Illuminate files. So right up my alley. Really excited for this novel. Like, I don't know what else to say about it, really. I'm just super excited. It is like Star Wars meets Doctor Who apparently, and it sounds really good. I have it pre-ordered and I'm so excited to get it. Oh, that comes out on April 13th, and House of Hollow comes out on April 6th, as well as The Infinity Courts. The next 2 books come out on April 20th. And the first book is Witches Steeped in Gold by Sienna Smart. Again, buzzword is witches. This cover is absolutely beautiful. My favorite color is green, specifically this emerald, dark, deep forest green that is on this cover is my absolute favorite. This, again, I don't know much about this one either, but I believe it follows 2 witches. It is I know it's a Jamaican inspired fantasy. I don't know much about Jamaican inspired fantasies. I don't know what to expect. I don't know anything about Jamaican folklore or anything like that, but it sounds like a really cool concept, and I'm loving this sort of trend at the moment of having fantasies inspired by something other than European history, like, you know, sort of like a medieval setting. Things like, I haven't read it, but I believe Nocturna is a Dominican inspired fantasy, and this is a Jamaican inspired fantasy, just like Children of Blood and Bone. Is it Children of Blood and Bone? Yes, Children of Blood and Bone is an African inspired fantasy. I really appreciate that we're bringing in other cultures as opposed to just Eastern, or not Eastern, just like European sort of fantasies. So I know that it is, again, a Jamaican inspired fantasy. I also believe it's a sapphic romance between 2 girls, but I'm not entirely sure. But I also believe if it is, they're enemies to lovers, like they absolutely hate each other, which I love enemies to lovers because it can be done so well. If done well, it's chef's kiss. Yes, so I know that. I believe it follows 2 different perspectives, and it's the 2 main girl characters, and I believe one of them, I think, gets like framed for murder or something, and the other one has to help reluctantly, but has to help for some reason, and then I think there's probably something else in play, but yes, I'm really excited for this. Again, cover amazing, buzzword witches, Jamaican inspired fantasy. There's so many things about this book that just make me really want to pick it up. So that's that. Now, the second book that comes out on April 20th is also one of my most anticipated releases because it's amazing, and that is A Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the 3rd book in the From Blood and Ash series. I'm currently rereading From Blood and Ash. to be able to just pick up A Crown of Gilded Bones when it comes. I also plan on doing a reading vlog for it because I just think it would be really fun to capture my reactions. The first 3 chapters have been released, like, well, the first 2 chapters I believe got released, no, the first chapter got released late December as like a Christmas gift to everybody, or like a happy holidays gift, and then the other 2 got released about a week and a half to maybe 2 weeks ago, and I probably shouldn't have read them, but I did, and the twists and turns that have been in the first 3 chapters of this already have been phenomenal, and I cannot wait to see what else happens, though I am kind of scared because I'm scared that people are going to die, and oof, it's just not good, and I really hope to be able to do a vlog of that. Anyway, so yes, so the From Blood and Ash series follows Poppy, and Poppy is the maiden in this fantasy world. She is vital to the ascension of these beings called the Ascended. They're essentially immortal beings, and they are essentially the aristocrats. Nobody really like a common is an Ascended or anything like that, but it follows her there, and then through a very confusing twist of everything, she ends up needing a new guard because the previous one dies, and Hawk, is it Hawk Flynn? No. Yes? His name's Hawk. I don't remember his last name, but Hawk ends up being her guard, and they have an enemies to lovers romance, and that is really like the basics of the basics that I could tell you without spoiling anything. It is a phenomenal series. It takes so many twists and turns. It's so great. It's so great. I absolutely love this series. Cannot wait to read this. Again, I'm going to be vlogging this. I also might be vlogging Witches Steeped in Gold because I am anticipating that that is going to be a 5-star read from what I know. Like, I think I'm absolutely going to love it. And I also think I'm absolutely going to love A Crown of Gilded Bones. So those are the releases for April. Now, May only has 3 releases, which, you know, is what it is. The first 2 books that release in May come out on May 4th, and the first one is Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. Victoria Aveyard is the author of the Red Queen series, and she has come out with her sophomore series. This is also it's a fantasy, but it's also another book that follows a ragtag group of people. I think there's like 7 of them, which I admire that there's so many main characters in this, because the story that I'm writing has 7, I think, main characters who I like absolutely adore. They're my babies. I absolutely love them, and I understand how difficult it can be to try and integrate them all seamlessly. But there's like a pirate captain's daughter, there's a prince, there's an assassin, there's an ex-con, there's like a whole very distinct, different group of people that are in this, and I believe they have to save the realm. That's literally all I know about it, but it sounds amazing, and I am so excited to read it. That one might also get a vlog. So, you know, lots of books coming out in spring that might get a vlog. Then the second book that comes out on May 4th is Blade of Secrets by Trisha Levenseller. This is an interesting book because it all revolves around this sword, and our main character is commissioned to make this powerful sword, like the most powerful thing, like nothing can defeat it, sword for a warlord. And our main character is extremely conflicted on that, but essentially she needs the money, so I believe she makes it. But when they go to pick it up, she has second thoughts and doesn't give it to them or something like that. But it's basically around this magic sword, and she is a blacksmith, and she makes this sword, and now everybody wants this sword. And I mean, yeah, The biggest draw was the fact that it was about a female blacksmith, which I've never read about a female blacksmith, so I thought that was going to be interesting. And yeah, the rest of it, I mean, also sounds kind of interesting, but again, that's the only thing that I know. All I know is it follows a girl who's a blacksmith who makes a really powerful sword, and people are trying to get that sword and she's on the run. That's it. So the last book that comes out in May, it comes out on May 18th, is Last Chance Books. This is the only contemporary on this list. You guys know how picky I am with contemporaries. They are sort of the bane of my existence. Not in a bad way, but you know. Well, it kind of is in a bad way, but that's besides the point. So this, from what I gathered, is a You've Got Mail sort of retelling. So it follows this girl who went off to college, and her parents and her family own a bookstore, and it's like a independent small town bookstore. And when she comes back from college, there is a big chain called Prologue that is threatening to, you know, wipe out their small little independent bookstore. And the son, or like the owner or whatever, is like determined to make our protagonist's life miserable. So I believe, from what I gathered, it seems like a You've Got Mail retelling, in the sense of like they both own bookstores, and they're both kind of battling to stay popular and relevant. And yeah, it just seems like a really cute contemporary. Contemporaries, if they're about bookstores or book lovers or things like that, draw me in a little bit more, but it does take me a little bit longer to actually sit down and read it, because like I said, they tend to bore me. They're just there, you know. But that is the last book on my spring most anticipated releases. Let me know if you are planning on reading any of these books. And if, when you're watching this, you've already read it, also leave me a comment about how you liked them. Again, if you enjoyed this video and want more from me, do go check out my channel, but also please hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below. I genuinely love reading people's comments. It doesn't really matter what it is. If you just want to say hi, say hi. I really appreciate it. I hope you are doing well and staying safe, and I will hopefully see you in my next video. Bye.